And right now we are 2 minutes away from the end of the trading day. Romaine Bostick alongside Emily Graffeo taking you through to that closing bell. It's a global simulcast. Carol Massar, Tim Stenovec, they join us now. Welcome to our audiences across all of our Bloomberg platforms, television, radio. Our partnership with YouTube, Carol Massar, where the word of the day is Inner Mongolia.
Oh, are you talking about the latest data center?
No, Carol Massar.
I thought the word of the day was Microsoft.
Well, Microsoft having a phenomenal day. I hope that ended up on Carol's gainers board today.
We may never find out.
Yeah.
We may never. Yeah. I mean, listen, you're talking about what? That they are maybe adding almost $500 billion in market value, which would be remarkable in terms of what we've seen. But look at, S&P 500 higher, but again, here's a day where the indexes are moving ahead, but most names in the S&P are actually lower for the day.
I hope I'm not stealing some of Carol's thunder here, but
Steal away.
Microsoft shares were up 17.5% earlier. If we look at just how this looks in the context of history, this is the biggest increase for shares of Microsoft going back to October of 2008.
You just want to do gainers, don't you?
I have another
Carol,
gainer,
when you're out,
too.
I do gainers.
I'm surprised we haven't said the word socks yet, because the semiconductors index is on fire today. It's up over 8%. And the names in there, they're not the mega caps. We have Micron, AMD, Broadcom. It's all those chip names that have been selling off. They're coming back today.
Obviously, Microsoft giving a big lift to this market on the back of the earnings report yesterday. That seems to suggest that all of that CapEx spend, that yes, indeed, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus when it comes to the return on investment. We're going to hear from Amazon in just a minute. It'll be interesting to see what they have to say. Apple a little bit later. We're also getting earnings this afternoon from Coinbase, Illumina, as well as Strategy and Roblox. Screen across the screen with the S&P up more than 100 points, or 1.7%. The Dow up more than 600 points, or 1.2%. The NASDAQ composite closes out the day up by about 2.8%. The NASDAQ 100 up 3.4, Carol, and the Russell 2000 in on the action with a gain of 1.4%.
Yeah, really, a bullish tone to the market. Going back to what I said at the top, I've got to do it. S&P 500, Emily, more than 300 names actually losing ground in that index, yet 197 to the upside.
And you can really see the strength in the market, at least for the tech names. The information technology sector of the S&P 500 up 5% versus some of these other sectors in the red here, communication services, consumer staples, healthcare, real estate, utilities. The breadth was kind of a mixed bag. Really, the story was that tech was driving the index, at least for today.
And I just want to point out, too, I know we might not get to the decliners, but Meta down 8% on the day, about a 20% slide, more than 20% slide over the last 11 sessions. And that's a big sort of the story here as we got those Microsoft earnings, which did show some sort of proof of life when it comes to the AI spend. Meta at least did not show it, at least in the view of investors. The question is, will Amazon show it? Those earnings crossing the wire right now, net sales, $200.6 billion. The street was looking for $197. Amazon Web Services net sales, 42.23. That's a beat. The street was looking for $40.57 billion on that number. And even when you X out the XF, that's still about 37% jump year over year. Operating margin overall for the company, 13.7%. That's above street estimates of about 12%. Here's the forecast for the third quarter. Amazon says expects net sales overall of $197 billion to $202 billion. That actually looks a little bit light on the top line. The street on average was looking for about $204 billion on average. As far as the bottom line, the company says, actually, I'm going to skip the bottom line there for a second, Carol, but we need to dig a little bit deeper into the AWS numbers to see how things are going.
Yeah, absolutely. And, just looking to the headline, we're just kind of highlighting this third quarter net sales forecast, missing estimates. Even so, though, right now investors seem pretty impressed. That stock is up about 6% here in the aftermarket, Tim.
Yeah, Amazon free cash flow fell to an outflow of $7.6 billion for the trailing 12 months. Shares jumping 6.5% right now. Third quarter net sales, 197 to 202. The estimate was for $203.93 billion. Just some commentary coming from Andy Jassy, who talks about the growth of AWS and highlights the growth of AWS, noting that AWS grew at 36.7% year over year in the second quarter. It was the fastest growth in 18 quarters. In the AI and chips business, each eclipsed run rates of more than $25 billion. Amazon shares up about 8% in the after hours.
Yeah, just going through some of these other results here for Amazon. Second quarter North American net sales actually above estimates here, $116 billion versus estimates of about $113. Physical stores net sales missing estimates just slightly, $5.79 billion versus estimates of about $5.87 billion. Again, doesn't seem to be affecting the shares. The focus here really on that net sales beat. It is a stock that is moving quite higher in the post-market, Romaine.
Yeah, I'm still trying to look through and see if we can get a little bit more clarity on the backlog here, because that, of course, is what a lot of people are focused on with regards to AWS and a beat on that particular segment number. Those operating income numbers that I was trying to get to, this is for the company as a whole. The company says that for the current quarter, it does expect operating income of about $22.5 to about $26.5 billion. The street was looking for about 25. So basically, it looks like these numbers for the second quarter as well as for the third quarter are right around to slightly above, and in one case slightly below what the street is looking for. But Carol and Tim, what everybody really wants to know here is just how much further this CapEx spend could take AWS and whether there is a return.
But I'm curious about why this net sales number came in light. And
I don't know either.
Yeah, 197 to 202. The estimate was for 203. So basically, the estimate is for 204. Even at the high end of the guidance, it's shy by about $2 billion. I'm going to be interested to hear about what that is attributed to and why analysts didn't get what they want.
I just want to say, too, sorry, Carol, just real quickly, because I was looking at the backlog. We're now getting the headlines here for the AI and chips segment that a lot of people have been focused on. Amazon is saying that it's exceeding $25 billion annual revenue run rate for AWS's AI unit. So a unit of a unit on a $25 billion annual revenue run rate. I know run rate is a dirty word for some people, but you got to just take it as you see it for right now. The company's saying that AI and chips each eclipse run rates of over $25 billion.
Here's what's kind of wild. You don't think of Amazon as a chip company, right? And we know increasingly all of these companies are certainly getting more involved in all of this, but to get that kind of a number on it is pretty impressive. I just want to go to something that's in the press release. Just gives you an idea of what this company is thinking. They announced an investment of $1 billion to create AWS Forward Deployed Engineering. So it's a team of AI engineers embedded directly with customers to co-develop and deploy agentic AI solutions in days rather than months. Early customers include Allen Institute, Cox Automotive, the NBA, the NFL, Ricoh, and Southwest Airlines. The way AI is kind of invading, in a good or bad way, our world, and these companies, their involvement, to give an idea of where that money is going and where the ROI might be coming in the future. I just think it's kind of interesting.
And as a credit girl, I am, of course, really interested. My sources are interested in whether we're actually going to see an ROI on all that spending. Just a reminder here, the company has sold $62 billion of bonds in the U.S. this year. This was a company that really was not raising any debt. They didn't really need to for the longest time, but that just goes to show their commitment to spending and building out artificial intelligence.
All right, we're going to continue to keep an eye here on Amazon and dive a little bit deeper into those numbers. We're getting some other earnings as well, including Roblox, which is down about 10% right now. Coinbase, the share is kind of fluctuating along the waterline here as their results now crossing the wire. The company's revenue numbers missing ever so slightly, about $1.22 billion. The street on average was looking for about $1.29 billion. There's a bigger story going on here. Need a little bit of time to get through the release. Carol.
All right. In the meantime, let's go to Rivian coming out with its latest results. Second quarter revenue, folks, a little bit better than street was looking for, $1.66 billion. The street estimate was for $1.52 billion. Second quarter loss per share of 63 cents versus a loss of 97 cents a share year over year. Second quarter vehicles delivered 12,194. The street estimate was for less than that, of about 11,471. And just for the outlook, still sees fiscal year vehicles delivered 65,000 to 70. Sees fiscal year adjusted EBITDA, Emily, loss of 1.8 to 2 billion. The estimated loss was for 2.01 billion, guys. And the stock right now up about 1% in the aftermarket.
Let's talk. Oh, go ahead, Emily.
All right, just so we're keeping an eye on this too. I do want to just go back to Coinbase just real quickly here, guys. I was looking at those transaction numbers. They are well below street estimates. $599 million for Coinbase 2Q transaction revenue. The street was looking for 635 there. So that kind of gets to this idea of why you had the slight miss on the top line numbers. And we were speaking with Vlad Tenev over at Robinhood earlier. Remember, obviously that's a much more diversified company, but their crypto business did not do well. And that was a lot of questions here that with the price of crypto, particularly Bitcoin, depressed, that was weighing on trading activity. In the same note here, we are getting earnings out of Strategy here. Their revenue basically on the nose, in line with estimates at about $122.4 million of cash and cash equivalents, coming in a little bit light at 1.7. So Coinbase down, Strategy down ever so slightly there. We're getting some other earnings as well. Emily.
Yeah, Romaine, we're also getting Reddit here, third quarter revenue forecast beating estimates. They do see revenue $860 million to $870 million. That was versus estimates of $829.4 million. The stock, though, down in the after hours, about 3% right now. Just looking through some of these other results, the second quarter revenue also beat estimates, up 61% year over year. So might kind of take a little bit of digging here to see what's weighing on the stock. Daily active users, just a slight beat here, 130.3 million versus estimates of about just 130 flat here.
All right, guys, just back to the big one, Amazon, as we await Apple. That'll be out in just about 20 minutes or so. Amazon shares, we continue to see that stock up about 5.6% in the aftermarket after second quarter AWS net sales topped estimates. On to the call with analysts to see more commentary that we get around this beat, but certainly a pop here in the aftermarket. And then, as we mentioned, we're going to get Apple at the bottom of the hour.